Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Ayden, where a man is now facing charges after he shot a gun at an apartment complex. Now Ayden police arrested 49-year-old Jamail Raspberry yesterday. Warrants say the man threatened to shoot his mother and pointed a gun at her. Raspberry allegedly fired the gun in the common area of the Deerview Apartments off Boulevard Street. The warrants do not say if anyone was hurt. Raspberry is charged with going armed to the terror of the people, communicating threats, discharging a weapon in city or town limits, assault by pointing a gun, and possession of a firearm by a felon. He was additionally charged with resisting a public officer and communicating threats. Warrants say he made verbal threats and made a fist in a threatening manner in front of the officer who was fingerprinting him. Raspberry was taken to the Pitt County Jail. He received a $5,000 bond for one of his charges, but is being held without bond on the other offenses. We also have an assault arrest to bring to your attention, this one out of Farmville. Kyla Harris was charged by Farmville police with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury after warrants say she stabbed a man with a kitchen knife. The 41-year-old had her first court appearance yesterday, and the judge continued her no bond status. She was taken to the Pitt County Jail. And for another arrest, this one out of Greenville, a man again allegedly fled a traffic stop for what was a window tint violation. Warrants say 27-year-old Majestic Jordan carried a gun as he ran away from a traffic stop for a window tint violation. Now, according to warrants, police seized 20 MDMA pills, a small amount of cocaine, marijuana, and a gun. Jordan was charged with possession with intent to make, sell, or deliver MDA or MDMA, possession with intent to sell or deliver cocaine, possession with intent to sell or deliver marijuana, and carrying a concealed gun and resisting a public officer. He was taken to the Pitt County Jail without bond. And now we need to highlight the tensions between Denmark and the U.S. as negotiations over the future of Greenland remain in the balance. NBC's Ryan Nobles has more.
A bipartisan group of American members of Congress are here in Copenhagen for a round of meetings with Danish leaders, including the Prime Minister of Denmark. In fact, that meeting's already wrapped up, and I'm told that it was frank and productive. The Danes have a clear message here to American leaders, and that is that they have no interest in selling Greenland. They believe that it is a part of the cultural fabric of the Kingdom of Denmark. And the people of Denmark feel the same way. We spoke to a number of people here in Copenhagen. We could not find a single person who thought it was a good idea that the U.S. acquire Greenland, and they're also legitimately worried about the threat of military intervention. In fact, the leaders here are as well. One minister of parliament I spoke with, he's actually the chair of the Defense Committee, said that they are taking those threats from Donald Trump very seriously, and they're worried about how it could impact all of Europe and the NATO alliance, which has held firm since World War II. But the American members of Congress have a mission. They want to make sure the Danish leaders understand that they are not necessarily in line with Donald Trump, and they will not support any purchase of Greenland from Denmark to the United States. Ryan Nobles, NBC News, Copenhagen, Denmark.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for that report. We now want to turn to your weather forecast. We've got, of course, an interesting weather weekend heading our direction. Air temperatures coming up tomorrow going to end up in the low 60s, but in classic eastern North Carolina fashion, we will go from one season to another in just like that, snap of a finger. Here's a look at what we've got outside right now. Again, sunny skies today. Going to struggle to warm us up. We're going to be back in the mid, possibly upper 40s coming up this afternoon. Maybe a degree or two warmer than where we were yesterday, but I think most people really aren't going to notice a difference between yesterday's temps and what we're going to see today. The real change comes from today into tomorrow. That's where you'll really notice the heat building over the east, which, of course, if you're sitting here hoping for a snowfall forecast, heat is the last thing you want to hear about. but ahead of a cold front that we're going to see move through eastern North Carolina late Saturday night into Sunday morning, heat is a part of the process. We get atmospheric compression. The air compresses a bit, and as that happens, it naturally heats up. We also have, well, sunny skies out for today, and at least for, I would say, a portion of the morning coming up for tomorrow. But we also have southwesterly winds, and those winds will help bring in warmer air into eastern North Carolina ahead of that front. Right now, everything looking dry and looking sunny across the east. 32 degrees right now in Greenville, again, highlighting just we are still very much in January. It is still cold outside, and it feels like 27 despite air temperatures, showing 32. It is just going to be a few cold mornings coming up, but tomorrow is going to be a warm day. Today, it's going to be a chilly day. Right now, straight up cold. Most of us sitting right around freezing. Some of us have made it into the mid-30s. Others are still hanging on to the low 30s. Do want to say good morning to Bernice Davis. Hopefully you're having a fantastic morning in Duplin County. Love that the sunshine is out. That's the case across the east. But Duplin County right now, calm winds down at ground level, but we are starting to see more of a southwesterly breeze take hold as that area of high pressure moves pretty much kind of right over Myrtle Beach. Close enough to certainly calm our winds down from where we were yesterday, but what we're really going to note is the wind shift that will occur as that high moves off the coast. More of a southerly to southwesterly wind today will it's going to try to warm us up. It's not going to do a very good job. 44 degrees by the time we get to around 4 p.m. today is pretty much right on par with where we were yesterday. But we're not going to lose out on as much heat over the evening hours as we did last night. To put it into perspective, we got to the same high in the mid-40s yesterday. And yesterday evening, we were below freezing by the time we made it to 8 p.m. yesterday. Tonight, well, really this evening, by 7 to 8 p.m., we're still in the mid-30s. And by the time we get to 10 to 11 p.m., we're still in the mid-30s. So hanging on to heat thanks to that southwesterly wind overnight tonight, and may actually end up avoiding freezing. We'll certainly get close to it tomorrow morning. It's, again, going to be a cold start to your Saturday, but air temperatures will rise quickly, thanks again to the compression, the sunshine, and the southwesterly breeze. It will increase in speed as we head through the afternoon. Those clouds will gradually get thicker as that cold front approaches. Now, the front itself is actually slowing down, and that is part of the problem with our snowfall forecast, or really the adjustments to our snowfall forecast. The slower that cold front goes, the less time our air temperatures have to fall to get to that 32-degree point that would allow raindrops to turn into snowflakes. So that's what we're battling. Here's Saturday morning. The front still way off to the west, but it is, again, approaching eastern North Carolina by this point. Front should move over the east as we make our way through your Saturday night into Sunday morning, but it's got to be off the coast, I would say, by Sunday at 10 a.m. if we've got a good shot of seeing any sort of snow accumulations. Now, could we still see some snowflakes coming down? Absolutely. Absolutely. But there is a difference between snowflakes that come down and accumulate on the roads than snow that comes down and melts on contact. And right now we're kind of leaning more towards that latter solution, that latter realization that, okay, air temperatures may just be a little bit too warm as we get that moisture from the low pressure system that, again, still has yet to form. It will form once that cold front is off the coast. But again, big picture look at what we've got. There is the front sitting back kind of near the Triad and stretching down towards Charlotte, even extends all the way down into the Gulf. That cold front, again, is losing its steam. It's losing its forward momentum, and that, again, is going to have an impact on our forecast. By 9 a.m. Early Sunday morning, note how we still have raindrops over eastern North Carolina. That means that front hasn't completely pulled out into the Atlantic. It's certainly close, but close is not good enough. We got to get that front off the coast in order for that cold, dry air to make it into eastern North Carolina in order to drop our air temperatures. So that's what's kind of holding us up right now and why we are kind of scaling back our snow anticipation numbers. Right now, we're looking at more of a wintry mix for Sunday. We think, yes, snow is going to be coming down late Sunday afternoon to Sunday evening, but ground temperatures by that point may still be in the mid-30s. We could still look at 36, 35 degrees across eastern North Carolina, and while that snow will help bring air temperatures down, it's not going to again be fast enough to get anything to fully stick. Now, there will likely be a dusting across parts of eastern North Carolina. Certainly not everywhere, but there will be a dusting across parts of the east on Sunday, or really technically I would say Monday morning by the time we wake up and look out our windows. But we're not, again, anticipating any sort of widespread heavy snow event. That's certainly not this situation. If we are to see things kind of flip back to what we were seeing earlier in the week with a faster cold front and more moisture coming in off of the Atlantic, then we could possibly increase those snowfall expectations up to around maybe 1 to 2 inches. But right now, it's not looking like, certainly not looking like a bread and milk scenario. This is, again, just what will end up being a dusting for some and a cool sight for others, but impacts right now look fairly low, at least in terms of snowfall. However, I also want to mention overnight lows Sunday night are still going to be dropping well below freezing, 21 degrees as we wake up early on Martin Luther King Jr. morning. That means if anything, again, does come down, whether it's snow, rain, or sleet, having it freeze on the ground is still certainly a possibility and even a likelihood. So if you are heading out the door early on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, say you know, like me, still have to go to work, totally understand, leave early. Leave early and drive slow. Again, you could end up running into some black ice out there on Monday morning. Similar story possibly on Tuesday morning as well. We'll see again how much moisture actually sticks around through the day on Monday. I'm not anticipating much, but with 19 degrees overnight, Monday night into Tuesday, I don't want to completely wave the all clear flag on that. Still use some caution, but we should be certainly better on Tuesday morning than what we're going to see on Monday morning. Then through next week, we gradually warm up, but it is again going to be a January week. We will stay below our seasonal average in terms of daytime highs and overnight lows through next week. Now, I do want to say, of course, good morning to Bernice Davis, as well as Mindy Alden. Thank you so much for tuning in from Deep Run. It is sunny, it is very cold, and Mindy, while you're probably not going to be warming up too much today, coming up tomorrow, you should be looking at some very comfortable temperatures, a nice breeze, and maybe some morning sunshine as well to kick off your weekend the right way. But that's all we have time for today's 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at 11. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Friday.